James, congratulations. Your first ever Austin City Limits. How'd it feel?
There's not a lot of words. I'll try and find some. It really did. It was a. This sounds cheesy and stuff, but it was a dream come true for me because, like I was saying to you earlier, and people over here don't seem to be that aware that in the UK we're aware of Austin City Limits big time. Like it's filtered through. I think for a few years at least, and I've known about it for 10 years at least. So to suddenly be here and to play tonight, be in that room and on that stage was, it was a dream come true. It was a huge treat. There's a musical magic, definitely, right, in Austin. I've been here a few times and played. And this feels like Austin City Limits, that stage, it feels like one of the real centers of one of the hearts, if not the heart, of the kind of musical magic of Austin. There was certainly some differences between tonight and my first open mic.
But which came first, your first open mic or a little busking on the street?
Open mics came first. Busking took some courage. Busking took a sort of new and different kind of courage. Open mics came first. And it was a fascinating experience and environment where, essentially nobody cares. You turn up the guitar, and for the most part, especially in England, people kind of give you a sideways glance and go, oh. They were having a nice night talking in the bar with their friends, and suddenly someone's going to come through a PA system and making a load of noise, and it might be terrible. So I had to sort of fight through, and it was like, fighting to be heard. But I loved it, I just loved performing, and then I got to, I moved to a place called Brighton on the south coast of England, and it was a good town for busking. It was a sort of easy sort of walk around little city, and it was easy just to sort of turn up anywhere on the street. But suddenly, I remember the first time I was walking down a road thinking, I'm going to busk today. And then thinking, well, this is it. I just have to stop now, take my guitar out, stand here and play. And it was daunting at first. So it takes all these different steps along the way, take different amounts and different kinds of courage. I've really invested, and like so many others, in so many incredible others, in wanting to put on a great live show. I feel like I'm really getting somewhere with that now. And so the urge and the desire is even greater to want to, sort of steal people away for a minute and just and do something a bit outrageous and hopefully sing some good songs and I don't know, turn people on to live music, particularly, again and again.
When it comes to your writing, your songs, is it difficult sometimes to be as open and personal as you are?
It's definitely difficult to be as open as I am sometimes. And sometimes, you go too far, you think you finished a song, you go back to it and you think this isn't right. And sometimes, I suppose often for a lot of people, it's never quite enough. A lot of songs slip through the cracks as kind of B-sides and things that, or maybe not even that. And once in a while, such is the magic of music, that you'll get a good one that will just have the right balance. And in terms of like being honest in songs, sometimes it'll still feel scary to let it out there. But at the same time, if it grabs people in the right way, that's too hard to turn down, that chance, that opportunity to make people, go, wow, what a song. So it's a funny kind of catch-22, but it's too much fun to not do.
And obviously people relate to those songs because they share a lot of those same feelings.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. It's even hard for me as somebody who has songs that people sort of say, I can really relate to that song. I really, that one really made me feel, it really helped me get through this situation or whatever. It's crazy how that works when you think maybe you're writing something so personal. But that's the beauty of it all. That's the magic of it all again, the whole, the whole sort of start to finish of creating new music.
So, I mean, you've only been doing this for, what, less than 3 years? I mean, professionally. I don't know how long it's been since your first time on open mic. But what have you learned in the last 2 to 3 years? Has this taught you something about life or about people or about you?
Yeah, it's taught me about in such a crazy world, and I know that's not supposed to sound too general. It's definitely a crazy world. It's still, you know, always will be worth so much just to be nice to each other, and kind of share passions and things, and be and feel inspired and share that. You know, playing music and being a musician and traveling in the way I do and all that stuff. It could be a wild and lonely life, but luckily everybody's really excited about getting to do it, and they kind of love sharing that with each other. And I came into this whole thing not knowing necessarily that was people's attitudes, and thinking I just had to get my head down and work hard and, you know, create something for myself. And I realized that so much of it comes from being around those kind of environments. So, you know, I've learnt that so that I can keep, you know, that flame alight for everybody else that's coming in, and for everybody else that's already here, you know, making it burn as well. I love that. The whole idea that, you know, you are essentially a failed attempt. As a musician, you are a failed attempt at trying to, you know, replicate your favorites. And in failing to replicate, you end up emulating them and then becoming something all your own. It's completely unique. So you can totally just sort of soak up all of those influences and you know, not be ashamed of it. And I've done all of that, and what comes out is me.